Hello everyone, my name is Fedro and this is Cozy Veggie, and on this channel we cover a variety of things such as video essays, reviews, JRPGs, and all things cozy gaming. Recently I've found myself going into a gaming slump. For us gamers, that is never a good thing. All the games that I'm picking up have kind of made me lose interest, or I'm not really clicking or vibing with. And I feel like now that we're entering the fall, we're not entering, we're really like in the fall season, I think it's the perfect time to cozy up with a chill game and just vibe on out to. But nothing for me is clicking besides Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is like by far a game that I've replayed so many times. But I want to pick up something new, something that will revitalize and get me motivated to play games again. So today I wanted to share with you guys the ultimate fall/autumn gaming guide. All the games that I've been listing in this video are games that I currently own that I have yet to play or have played a little bit about and want to tap in and to get into more into it. So what's really great about this list, I have a variety of games for that to cover different genres, different consoles, combat styles, and all the like. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first game that I want to share with you guys is Triangle Strategy. Now this is a game that came out of March of 2022, and it's a really cool HD 2D style with tactical RPG elements. So think of Octopath Traveler, but make it tactical RPG. I played one of the routes back in March when it first came out and absolutely loved it. But with games like this, when it has multiple routes in it, I don't want to burn through them all because then I will get inevitably burnt out by the game. So I wanted to take my time with it. I'm definitely due for another playthrough of this game because I think it's a really cool, beautiful, stunning game that even though it's not necessarily set in fall, I feel like the atmosphere and the vibes that this game gives off definitely is very fitting and suited for the fall season. Speaking of a game that's also very fitting for this season, I would have to bring up Digimon Survive. The reason why is because this game has some really cool spooky, ghost, paranormal activity aspects in it that I feel like would be very fitting, especially for the month of October. What's really interesting about Digimon Survive is that when it came out, a lot of people didn't love it because I feel like this game was heavily pushed the visual novel aspect rather than the gameplay and combat aspect of it. Like if people knew going into it there was going to be a tactical RPG element to it, but wasn't expecting such a heavy story into this game, which for me is a blessing and a good thing to hear because I love a good narrative driven story. So I'm excited to hopefully pick this up sometime this season. If I do pick this up and play this, I definitely want to play it like this month. And the next game that I have is a JRPG that I've mentioned on this channel before, and that is none other than The Last Story. Ooh, can you see that? There you go. The Last Story. Now this is one of Hironobu Sakaguchi's games that he's put out after he left Square Enix. And this is a game that I've heard many, many great things about, and the story and of course, the beautiful world that it's set in seemed really cool and interesting. And I haven't really dabbled much into Wii RPGs, even though I've made videos about them. Again, you know, life happens, other games get in the way, but I hope to get to this game during the sitting because this medieval and fantasy like games fit super fitting for the fall months because again, we're already in this kind of like more whimsical, fantastical vibe. Games set in this kind of setting definitely fit the season. Next up, I definitely, of course, have to include a farming sim because I feel like when you think of harvesting, you think of fall and autumn and all that jazz. So I got to mention Harvestella. Now, I know a lot of people have said really good things about this game. However, when it first came out, kind of similar to Digimon Survive, it kind of went over people's radar and kind of was slept on. And recently, I've heard a lot of my friends here on YouTube speak really great things about this game. It's Square Enix take on the farming simulation game with RPG elements, and I remember hearing about this back in the partner showcase I believe of last year, and I thought it was really interesting because I love farming sims, I love RPGs, put them together, you have a good combo. So I'm excited to hopefully get to this game. I think it would be really fun to play this during November because as an American, that's the time of Thanksgiving, so I feel like that'd be fitting for this game. The next game that I have is Radiant Historia on the DS. Now this game is also available on the 3DS. The 3DS one is a HD remaster remake of this game here. But getting that physically is quite expensive, and of course now that the 3DS eShop is closed, you're better off just getting the original DS version. This is a really cool, again, very fantasy and medieval setting game. What's really cool about this game is that it has time travel elements within it, which I think is really cool, and a really interesting combat style where it really involves stacking collaboration with your team members. So I'm really excited to get into this game because it honestly looks really stunning, and honestly I really like the art style and take that the DS version has. Of course that the 3DS version has a lot more embellished and more polished look, but this has really interesting and I don't know, it's a really intriguing and endearing art style that I can't wait to get into. And I really need to bust out my DS, my DSi or my 3DS systems because I've been neglecting them and I haven't been giving them enough love. So yeah, I'm excited to hopefully get to this game sometime this season. Now the next game that I have is Yomawati Lost in the Dark. Now Yomawati is a series that has been released over a different variety of platforms, mainly on the PS Vita, but this one was released on the Switch back, I believe, sometime around December, October, or November. Late fall, early winter of last year, and I remember hearing about it and wanting to get it, but I wanted to wait till it went on sale. I think last year, sometime this year it did, so I picked it up, and I thought this would be a game that I could not wait to pick up during this season, especially in October. I'm probably going to play this actually later tonight because I really want to get into these spooky horror games. I'm not really much of a horror genre girly. I get scared pretty easily, so I kind of stayed away from them. But I think this would be a cute take on the horror genre without making me piss my pants too bad. What's really cool about this that does play into some really cool auditory elements that require you to wear headphones to really immerse yourself into the game, which I'm really excited and looking forward to trying and get into. And if I really like this one, I might dabble into the other entries in the series. Now, of course, I gotta mention some cozy games. So the first one that I have is Unpacking. Now, this is the physical edition. I knew when I first saw this game I had to get this, and of course I had to get it physically. This game is epitome of cozy. You're literally just unpacking. You're unpacking and rearranging your room, and for some people that may seem kind of boring, but I've heard that the story in this is really intriguing and a little bit sad, so I'm excited to get into it and discover the story and just chill out to this game. This is definitely a game that you want to pick up to at the end of a really long day, whether it be a long work day or a long school day or just a long day in general, and just get a nice cup of tea or hot chocolate or coffee and just unwind too. So I cannot wait to get to Unpacking sometime this season. So the next game that I have is actually a game that I played earlier this year that I really enjoyed, and that is Potion Permit. This is a really cool take on the open-ended life sim game, but what's really cool about this one, the main premise is that it has a lot to do with alchemy. So if you're into creating, again, hence the potion permit aspect of it, being able to create potions and venture out around this world of Moonsbury, that's what it was. What's really cool about this game is particular is that you set up into this town where people are pretty apprehensive to alchemists because they've been burnt before by alchemists, but in this time you build trust and relationships with the townsfolk of Moonsbury, as well as unwinding the truths of what happened with Moonsbury in its past and what happened with the past alchemist that was in this town. It was a really fun time. I played this game while I was like listening to a podcast and just really just chilled out too. What's really cool about this game, it does have endgame content, so even if you're finished with the main story, there's still a lot of things that you can unlock, relationships that you could further nourish, and yeah, I definitely recommend this game, especially for this season. And the last two that I'm going to mention, I'm going to just put them together, and that is Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing New Horizons. I feel like these games don't need any explanation. They're your run-of-the-mill standard farming sims that everyone loves. I actually, surprisingly, have not played Stardew Valley yet. I know, crazy. I actually want to get to this game, like within this month or next month, probably next month, but I've played Animal Crossing. I raved and I raved and reviewed about this game. I love it to bits and pieces. I'm currently playing and starting a new island. I love it. But yeah, these again are very, very good games to play this season. Now the next game that I want to mention is something probably you wouldn't think of to play in the fall season, but I feel like because of how immersive and the not cool tones, but I guess like the cool tones and the cool vibes of it, I think it'd be kind of fun to play on a really chill, some like gloomy, even a rainy fall day, and that is none other than Stray. You can see it there. There we go, Stray. Now this is a game that I picked up last year around Black Friday for a really good deal. I remember when it first came out, I wanted to get it, but I really wanted to wait till it came out on physical form. And I'm so glad that I did because I've heard really great things about Stray. It was even nominated for Game of the Year last year. And I just feel like it'd be so fun to play as a little cat running through a neon cyberpunk-esque city. And again, I feel like this would be perfect for, honestly, Halloween and also for the really cool, chill vibes that this game gives. Again, that you could play on a really nice, gloomy fall day. So yeah, excited to get to this hopefully this season. Now the next game that I mentioned is definitely going to fit into the medieval high fantasy vibes, and that is A Plague Tale's Innocence. Now this is a game that I feel like it came out and people kind of like heard about it, but then over time people have grown to really love this game. I mean, it became so well loved that it garnered a sequel. But yeah, this is also a really cool game where it's set in a medieval setting where these two siblings are kind of trying to survive in the midst of a pretty gnarly plague. But yeah, I think this is really cool, kind of a stealth-like game that I think would be a really fun time to play in this fall time, which is kind of funny to play a game about a plague because I feel like fall and winter time is kind of like the same time as the flu or like the cold season. I know that the plague and the cold and the flu are nothing alike, and we don't want to go through that, but I just found a weird connection. I don't know why I connected those two, but either way, I'm excited to get around to this game sometime this season. Now, the next game that I brought up, I thought was interesting, kind of, I feel like would be more fitting towards the October months, and that is Master Detective Archive's Raincoat. That is such a long title, but I thought this was such a cool game. It has taken the idea of Danganronpa but make it more RPG. I think this would be very fitting for the Halloween time. It has spooky elements. You're in a cool, kind of similar to Stray in a sense, you're in this really cool cyberpunk kind of style, noir. I don't even know if noir and cyberpunk are the same, but it has more of a noir type film theme, and it has more of a noir-esque to it that I think would be very fitting for the fall vibes. And again, with the cool creatures and the characters that you meet in this game, I think would be very fitting for the fall time as well. And the last game that I'm going to mention is a visual novel that I've heard many things about, and I've heard about it first through its anime, and that is Steins Gate. You can see that there. I have been wanting to get into this visual novel for a while. I've heard about the anime, but when I did more research about the anime, I found out it was based on the visual novel. I wanted to play the visual novel first before I get to the anime, because I feel like sometimes when visual novels get translated to other works, particularly anime, sometimes you lose certain elements that you can't really fully experience unless you play the visual novel. And this was really cool about so this has to do with time travel, which I think would be really fun. Again, sci-fi genre, which is a genre I don't necessarily gravitate towards too. But I think this would be a fun, changes pace from other RPGs from the list or the cozy games. Feeling a visual novel is something to really nice to get cozy up with during this fall season. And with that, that is pretty much all of the games that I hope to play sometime this season. Again, I won't be able to play all of them, but at least this will give me a good idea of what I can possibly play this season. Hopefully give you guys an idea as well. Yeah, so if you guys like this video, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let me know, what do you do to get yourself out of a gaming slump, and what are games that you're looking forward to play this fall season. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good one. Bye.